Hi, welcome to the Craft Channel. My name's Corinne Brad and I've got a neat little Christmas project for you today because you can never start too early for Christmas. And it's a very simple reversible stocking. They are completely reversible because I made them that way. So that you can have them as decor for hanging on a mantelpiece, for gifting, for having as a child's Christmas stocking at the end of their bed. And if you make them in two contrast prints, you can simply tip the top over, hide the fabric loop inside the cuff, and change the look of it. So it's two in one. So we've got some templates in the description below for you to download. And I've drawn these stockings up so they're small, medium and large. They're not exactly in proportion as you download them, so it's not a case of the large one is just twice as big as the small one. Because I have found you need a certain amount of room on the top here to actually make them usable and to get things in. But there are templates like so. You can print them out, stick them together, cut them out. And I'm going to make the medium size one for you today. So let's just pop these over to one side. So what you need is right sides together, two pieces, a left and a right, and also two pieces which I have zigzag stitched onto like a bamboo wadding, just to give it a bit of structure. The way I've done that is literally just pinned the fabric right side up onto the wadding, trim the wadding to size and then zigzag stitched around the outside of it. But it can be time consuming, which is why I've not showed you the whole thing. And then what you want to do is pair up a lining with an outer, a couple of pins in there, and do the same for the other pair. Oh. And sew across the top. So you sew completely across the top of one pair with a 6mm seam allowance. So that's joined completely. And then with the other pair, sew about 5 centimetres and backstitch. Leave yourself a gap, and I would leave yourself about 6 centimetres gap because with the wadding you've got a little bit more to get out of that hole than you normally would. And then just before you do anything else, just tip that back and finger press it so you've got a nice neat edge. So open out your two pairs, and pin together where the top of the stocking meets. On one side and again on the other. And then just match up certain points along the outline of your stocking. So it's most important really that you match up you can see it better on this without the wadding on it, that you match up this inner curve of what would be the top of the foot and your heel. And then you can sew completely around the shape because you've left that gap in the top of the cuff. Back to the beginning. And then you can turn out your stocking through that gap. Like so. And I will use my scissors this time to just get those curves out. Now you notice I didn't really bother clipping the curves in the corners because, especially on the wadded side of it, the fabric doesn't really seem to strain too much. They're quite gentle. Even on this internal corner here, I haven't needed to clip it. I'm not even going to worry about turning out this one at the minute because I'm going to tuck this inside, unless you want to use this as your outer. What you want to do is pop your lining in your outer. Get it in there as neatly as you possibly can. And then just fold in that raw edge. Pop a pin in that just to keep that down. Like so. Now with the larger stocking, what you can do is you can take your accessory drawer off and you can slip this over. This smaller one, I don't actually know, maybe it will. No, that's a bit of a snug fit. If you ever find yourself, you've done a tube and you want to sew all the way around the outside of it, but it's too narrow a tube, your best bet, especially if you've just pinned it like I just have, is to turn it inside out. Not fully, but just enough that you can get to this edge. And then pop it in your sewing machine, like so. So you can see where the rest of the fabric is and it doesn't get caught underneath where you're stitching. But you need to make sure that you can remove the pins easily as you go. By holding the fabric taut towards you, so you've got a nice straight line to stitch. Now possibly you can't even see that in the camera because the fabric here is getting in the way of where I'm stitching. So what that's done is it's neatened up that top edge of the cuff, and it's also closed your turning hole. So pop it back out. And just tip the top over like so. So you've got it this way round, or ooh. This is where it helps to have small hands, because I can actually get into things to turn them out properly. Tip it over like this. And then as you can see on the small stocking, all I have done is I've sewn a loop of ribbon to each side just at the top, so that you can have it hanging up either way. But it's not one piece of ribbon, because obviously you've got two sides to it. And I was just going to show you a bit of quick personalisation. Let me just iron this a minute. I've cut some letters out of fabric using the Cricut Maker, and it is simply cotton quilting fabric. You back it with a piece of, this is heat and bond, this is like a glue adhesive you iron onto your fabric. You peel the backing paper off, pop it on your mat, fabric side up, and they've got quite a nice little rotary wheel. Actually, I can show you the rotary wheel. So it's a geared rotary wheel, and it's like a rotary cutter. It cuts rather than it being a knife blade. So it does mean you get a really good cut on your fabric without it pulling. And it does also mean you don't have to worry about saving a blade for fabric only. But as this is just a quick demo, I'm not going to show you cutting out the fabric, but these are the letters that I've cut out already. And this is for a friend of mine who has just recently had a little baby boy. And if she's watching this, she knows who she is, don't you, Kate? Just pop your letters on. If you pre-warm your fabric, you'll find that there's a little bit of tack. And don't be tempted to iron it, because you might ruck them up. Just press. And this is on like the mid-heat of my iron. And what it does is it just remelts the glue on the back and bonds it to the surface of your stocking. And you can applique it, you can hand stitch it, or you could stitch it onto the stocking. You could stick it and stitch it onto the stocking before you make the stocking up. But as you can see, the Cricut does actually make light work of cutting out letters, and they're not that big, those letters. They're quite intricate. So you can make personalised stockings for the entire family, and the dog, and the cat. And then if you change your decor next year, you can just flip them inside out, and you've got a completely different look. So there you go. Hope you're getting set for Christmas very, very soon. It's going to be a good one this year. We will see you very soon. Take care. If you've been inspired to create, please share your makes with us in the comments section below. And if you've enjoyed videos by the Crafts channel, hit the like button. Want to see more of us? Then click subscribe. See you next time.